Hello everyone, and welcome. My name is Mardell from Gypsy Designs for You, and today we're going to make something with book pages. I love working with book pages. I have 4 examples in front of me, and they are different sizes, all using book pages. You can decorate both sides, or you can leave one plain as I have on this. I like to use different types of fonts, different colored papers, so that you see the distinction between the two. And then you have leftovers, just small strips that you can actually use. This is also a hidden paper clip, just like the rest. So I'll move these out of the way and we'll get started. You'll need book pages, and as I said, I like to use different fonts, different colors. This one's a little more aged. It's from a child's book, and there's aging around some of these, but it helps for the distinction between the two. You get 2 tones. So first of all, we want to fold our paper in half. Doesn't have to be exact. We're going to tear. And I'll move these 2 out of the way, and we'll use these 2. And the first one I'm going to tear just on the edge to get rid of that plain paper, and then decide how wide I'd like to have it. And with this one, I think we'll just go approximately here. But then we have to tear off the bottom. And that's the base. We'll save this one for the narrow one. And then this is going to go on top. So again, I just like to get rid of that plain edging, which can be used many times in your collages and different things. So you decide how much you want showing of that first one, and you don't need a lot, so I just kind of eyeball it and tear the rest. And again, we're going to save that to go with that other thin one. And you decide how long you want, some peeking out, so right about the end of the print you tear it off. And if we put that together, that looks about right. So we're going to ink these up, but first of all, I wanted to show you something that I thought made what can be boring book pages, which I don't know if there are any boring book pages. I really do love them, but if you get tired of plain, we can use pattern paper and just glue that on top. You still see all the print, but then you have a new texture and extra print on the pattern paper. Usually you can have plain, or you can put it anywhere that you like the look. I think I'll go with this one, and for that I like to sew around mine. If you don't, then you want to use a better glue. I'm just going to use glue stick so that I can get my pattern paper on, and then I'll sew it. If you're not going to sew, use a better glue. Art glitter glue is a good one, or tacky glue. Then I just place it on, and sometimes I like wrinkles, and sometimes I just press it down. Now we're going to cut around the edge, and you can tear, but this pattern paper really doesn't tear well. So I'm just going to cut gently around so that I don't mess up my torn edges on my pattern, on my book page rather. So I just angle my scissors out just a little bit so that I don't cut my book page, but I get close enough to make it look nice. Now, instead of going to my sewing machine and sewing around this, I have one done. So what I would normally do is sew it and then ink around it. So here's the one that is done. I just made a crooked line going around, and I've already inked it. So we will move on to the top portion, which we're not really going to do anything to as far as a layer, but we do need to ink it. And I'm using walnut stain. And we just ink around so that it pops when it's on top of the other page. Otherwise it just blends into the background too much. And I think I mentioned this is from a child's book, so the printing is larger, which makes it interesting. I like it that way. So it fits just like that. And then when we get this together, we'll decorate the top. But right now, we need paper clips, because these are hidden paper clips. You can use either size, the small one or the larger one. It just depends on whether it will show or not. It wouldn't show if you use the big one, but I'm just going to use the small one because it works. You put it on your paper, the first paper that you've done, the larger size, and then we're going to glue this right on top. And the paper clip fits flush against the fold. And on this, I use art glitter glue. Go all around the edge. And through the center, so that it'll stay. And then we place it approximately centered. It's not a disaster if it isn't centered, but it's nice to have it centered. Whoops. On both sides. And that one seemed to get a little wonky, but there we go. It's fixed. So I'll show you what it will do if you have it on a book page. It just slides down and stays. It won't go anywhere. So let's decorate it and get it ready for your book. I love using these in my journals because you can orient them to go this way, or you can orient them to go on the side of your book. For this one, we're going to orient it this way. And today I feel like using butterflies. You know, we don't have enough butterflies, do we? Everyone loves butterflies. So I think maybe this one. But we need a little something. I think a ticket down here, and then the butterfly, and of course we need some kind of word. I have happy. Let's see how that looks. Maybe a bit of cheesecloth. You just can't go wrong with cheesecloth. It adds something to most everything we decorate. And I'll just put a little art glitter glue down and scrunch up the cheesecloth. And then I want it ink the butterfly. The white edges take away from it. So it's nice to get rid of the white edges from fussy cutting around the edge of your paper when you cut out your butterflies. And many of us have spent hours fussy cutting butterflies because we love them. And I'll use the art glitter glue on this. And put him at an angle. And then we need to just put a little color on the edge. This is actually a ticket, I believe. But there is a white edge there, even though you can't see it on camera too much. Yes, it's a ticket. But tickets are not made to stay forever. So I put a little glue on mine so that it's not going anywhere. Okay, and then again we're going to ink around the edge, which I may have already done at some point, looks like. We'll add it just a little bit. And that's one side. And I won't decorate the other side on camera, but you can do the same thing. I was thinking maybe this butterfly, so that whatever page you put it on, it coordinates well. But we won't do that on camera, so that I have time to make this smaller one that we talked about. Here's the example. And this too just can be oriented up and down like this, or from the side of your page. And since my word is that way, this one would orient this way. We'll make this one to go sideways. And with this, I'm just going to tear the side so that we have nice wording, and tear off the bottom. And I think that might be long enough. Probably a little too long, actually. I'll tear it just a little more off. And let's ink this. And some people like to orient their wording going the right direction, but it really doesn't matter, and especially if it goes sideways, because that's certainly not something you can control. For this one, I thought we might use one of these pieces, if it's not too big, of maps that I've pleated. There's lots of tutorials on YouTube. It looks like it will barely fit, but maybe I can tear a little bit off and just cut it in the back to make it fit. And I'm gonna try to tear just a little off so that it looks good on our small base that we have here. Otherwise it would cover up the whole base and you wouldn't get the effect that we're going for. I'm sorry, I don't know if I was in frame. So we want to ink this up, and that way it will pop on top of our book page. Now you could use another book page like we did on the other one. You could use anything actually, but since we're talking about using up book pages, I thought I would stick with book pages, and of course this is a map, which is book page basically. So that's going to sit on top of here, and for this one you would almost have to use a small paper clip. Now we're going to glue this down right over the top of the paper clip so it's totally hidden. Either side you look at, you don't see the paper clip, which is really nice. Not that when you see a paper clip it takes away from it. It really doesn't, but it's just a new and different way to do things, and I like it. So we want to press that down and try to get it as even as we can, because we don't have a lot of book page underneath there. And that one got just a bit wonky. There we go. So we have the map and book page showing, inked up. And to decorate this one is going to be a little more difficult. If you don't have something small, thinking maybe, I think that's too big. We could just use a button, which would look nice. Pretty much anything you want. If you have a small flower, you could do that. Possibly a stamp. I have a stamp here that's just a bit big, plus I don't like the red frame around it, so I'll just tear around that and ink it up, and let's see how it looks. Stamp right there, and maybe stick the button on the other side. So on this, I'll just use art glitter glue because it's handy and it works fast. I'm going to tip it to the side instead of angle, and then off camera I'll put the button on the other side. But let me show you how this looks. On your book page, you can have it to the side. Didn't orient that well for the side, but either way works. And you have paper clips that you can use for decoration, and when they're on the page they don't fall out like some ephemera does. So this is kind of nice, I think. So I hope you enjoyed this. And thank you very much for stopping by. I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.